Hello, this is Dallas here with a short study. Yesterday I woke up with this encoder-engraver concept racing through my head. I needed no Shield protocol for this, as this was simply in my head. I did produce one Shield protocol video touching on this subject, so today I'm producing this with the help of Grok AI, who put Theses ideas into a document this video is about. In the first chapter of Zechariah, the prophet is given a series of night visions. After the vision of the man among the myrtle trees, Zechariah lifts his eyes and sees 4 horns. These horns are the powers that have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem so thoroughly that no one can even lift up his head. Then the Lord shows him something else. 4 craftsmen. The King James Version reads, "And the Lord showed me 4 carpenters." The Hebrew is clearer and richer. The word is charashim, the plural of char-ash. It is Strong's number 2796. This word never means a chaotic army. It means an engraver, an artificer, a skilled craftsman who works in wood, metal, or stone. It is the same root used for the men who engraved the stones of the high priest's breastplate, the smiths who worked iron, and the carpenters who built the house of David. So the vision is not of brute force answering brute force. God does not send 4 more horns. He sends 4 skilled craftsmen. Throughout the centuries, interpreters have asked who these 4 craftsmen are. Some have seen successive empires that overthrow one another. Some have seen angelic princes. Some rabbinic traditions name Messiah ben David, Messiah ben Joseph, Elijah, and a priest of righteousness. Others point to Zerubbabel, Joshua the high priest, Ezra, and Nehemiah. The precise identity can be debated. What cannot be debated is their function. These craftsmen come to fray the horns, to terrify them, and to cast out the horns of the Gentiles that lifted themselves up against the land of Judah. Here is where a modern technical lens becomes surprisingly illuminating. Think of the 4 horns as analog noise. Raw, unformatted, destructive power. Empires that scatter and break systems apart. God answers them not with more noise, but with precision instruments. The charashim function like encoders. An optical encoder does not overpower a spinning shaft by force. It takes continuous, potentially runaway motion and translates it into discrete, quantified data that a master controller can govern. In the same way, these prophetic craftsmen take the chaotic geopolitical energy of the nations and force it to submit to a higher structural law, the divine blueprint. By engraving the boundaries of history, they act as the physical encoders of a divine decree. The text says they come to fray them and to cast them out. They do not merely destroy. They re-encode. They impose measured limits upon previously unbounded power. This reading fits the flow of the visions that follow. In the very next chapter, a man appears with a measuring line in his hand, sent to measure Jerusalem. The measuring line is the ultimate physical data sensor. First the horns of chaos. Then the craftsmen who encode and bound that chaos. Then the measuring line that renders the restored city into exact dimensions under divine survey. The progression is deliberate. From uncontrolled destruction, through skilled re-encoding, to precise metrological restoration. The same divine intelligence that engraves history also measures the future city. So the vision of Zechariah 1:20 is not simply a promise that God will one day destroy the enemies of his people. It reveals the manner of that intervention. Not with matching chaos, but with skilled, measured, form-imposing craftsmanship. The charashim are the engravers of history and the encoders of divine decree. In them, the Lord of hosts demonstrates that even the most violent geopolitical forces remain subject to the precision of his structural word. History is not left to analog noise. The Lord deploys skilled agents who engrave his structural laws upon the nations. The same God who numbered the stars also numbers the limits of the empires. That is the testimony of Zechariah 1:20. 4 horns of scattering answered by 4 craftsmen of precision. Chaos answered by the engraver. Raw power answered by the encoder. And over it all the measuring line of a God who does not leave his people or his purposes unmeasured.